Hi everyone. I hope everyone are safe. So let's start off with the implementation. Now after the architecture overview and everything, I would start configuring the virtual networks and subnets as per the designed architecture. Now, if you see in this diagram, so we have three VNets. One is VNet West US and one is VNet Central India and one is VNet West Europe. I could create this using PowerShell, which is pretty easier, and using CLI or using ARM templates or using Terraform. But this is something to make you understand about how does this configuring each service does. So I'm going through portal. Let me start creating the virtual networks. For that, you start going to the search box and you can start looking for virtual networks from here, the virtual networks, and you click on create. Let me give a name for this resource group, and that would be RG West US. We name it in the right convention way, and it is VNet West US. So as the naming convention signifies that it is VNet West US, so I'm locating it in the region of West US. So this is also one of the core things which you observe in production. The naming convention would be similar to the service, and it also represents the location exactly. Let's go to the IP address here, and let me configure for this an IP address of 102.10.0.0. And now if you see here, there are two, one is VNet gateway, and we see there's a management subnet. Let us create the same thing. So I'll create a subnet here first and name it as management subnet. I'll use /24. So I had 256 IP addresses. Among that, 5 being utilized by Azure, and I'll click on add. Now I'll also use for the VNet gateway, I'll create a subnet, and that I would term it as 255 and 24. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to click on create. So when you are trying to practice the same thing, I recommend that you note it down here. I'm configuring virtual networks. So I'll mention this here. Say VNet West US. I could go with the IP address space, which is 102.10.0.0.16. And the subnets are GMT subnet 02.10.0.0/24, and the other one is VNet gateway 02.10.255. This should be created. Now let's go again create another virtual network, and that network is VNet Central India. So as the naming convention represents, it is located in the Central India. I'm going to create another resource group, VNet Central India, and VNet VNet Central India. There I'll go and search for Central India. Or you prefer creating another IP address on another VNet. How do we do this? Uh, we create with the similar address space where I prefer 102.11. Create subnets here. So what subnets have to be created here? Uh, I have to create for a load balancer one subnet and one subnet for the web servers. Let me go and do that. Web servers subnet. I want just 256 IP addresses. I click on add, and similarly I'll create that would be 24. click on add and let me click on create. It's gonna validate and then now similarly there is another VNet which is West Europe and we have to create this. So let me name this here web servers 4 then LB subnet. Let us create VNet West Europe. IP address space is the next one. After this 10, 11, it would be 12. Let me go ahead and create the West Europe one. I go into the virtual networks, I click on create. I have to create another resource group, RG West Europe. Click on IP addresses, then I choose this and let's create subnets. So when creating subnets, let's again see this. It's one is for application gateway and one is for web server subnet. Web servers subnet app gateway subnet. There we go. This is good to go now. So this is how we configure virtual networks. Let's go ahead with the next coming topics where we would be configuring a virtual network gateway and a point to site connection.